Hey everyone, it's time to Nefis and chill. I'm really excited to make this video because I just spent 12 hours on the first day of the early access for Diablo 4's beta, finishing all side quests, main quest line, and areas that weren't restricted or bugged, and I got to level 25, which is the highest level allowed at the moment on the open beta. Everyone has been asking me the same exact question during my live stream. How is the game? Is it fun? Is it worth pre-ordering? And so on. The short answer is yes. Diablo 4 is hella fun. And based on my addictive experience with it just now, I wouldn't be surprised if Diablo 4 became 2023's Game of the Year, even when contending against the yet-to-be-released Final Fantasy, Starfield, and potentially a lot more games and additions coming out this year, including a DLC for Elden Ring, 2022's Game of the Year. Any bugs and weird glitches or timeouts and disconnects I kind of dismiss because while there were login queue issues for a lot of people, because you probably had tens of thousands of people jam-packed logging into Diablo 4 the moment the time came, there were also some bugs where if you did disconnect for some people, like Osmongold, your character got deleted, and there were also some subtitle or dialogue issues. Outside of all that, it's kind of basically what I would expect from any game, really, at a faulty beta launch. And in this video, I just kind of want to focus on the content itself rather than some NPC not sitting on the chair right. But so yeah, let's get started. So classes, there are a total of 5 classes to be confirmed for launch, which is in June. Barbarian, Druid, Rogue, Necromancer, and Sorcerer. Unfortunately, on the beta, Druid and Necromancer are not available, so I couldn't test it. I had a lot of fun with Barbarian and Rogue. And my friends also told me that the Sorcerer, despite maybe its, the potential blandness of, oh, it's a Sorcerer class, said it's really engaging and fun as well. Class-wise, I really do like the fact that they are going to bring Druid back and Necromancer in terms of like a Diablo 2 kind of lineup. Because let me tell you something. Diablo 4 is what Diablo 3 should have been in terms of like literally everything I'm going to talk about. Diablo 2 has a lot of influence in Diablo 4 in terms of art, gameplay design, and just everything in terms of feel. A lot of people kept asking me about Paladin. So Paladin as a class for Diablo 4 has not been confirmed to be part of the lineup of classes at launch. Some people are speculating it may come later, but so far no word from Blizzard on the Paladin class. So character creation for the game, I think it was actually quite surprising. It was a lot more than I expected, and I have a suspicion they'll probably add a few more things and probably kind of clean up a few things like the eyebrow details and stuff like that. But I actually did enjoy creating my characters, and I think a lot of people will enjoy it when it launches. I just did not expect there to be this much customization. It definitely is not anywhere close to like Black Desert Online or some other MMOs in terms of like character customization, but still it's better than basically every other Diablo before it. And in terms of the characters, NPC stories and all like that, I really enjoy the characters. Like it compared to Diablo 3, I feel more invested in the story. The voice acting is superb in Diablo 4. I was just blown away by all the voice acting. And the characters, to me, for the most part, are definitely interesting. Side quests, especially after doing them all, they definitely, I mean, some concepts were obviously the same, but the way they weave the stories and the narratives of the people involved in these quests, it was just, I think, much better writing than Diablo 3, for sure. And I would say a little bit better than Diablo 1. But yeah, stories and characters, really awesome. Lore, the expansion on the lore of the Diablo universe, of Sanctuary, really, I think it's really cool. It's really neat. The whole I don't want to spoil anything, but the whole thing with Lilith and Naris and all that, it's just really exciting to be part of this like expanding lore that we haven't really gotten around to seeing before as players. And I think there's definitely some callbacks to previous stories from Diablo 2, Diablo 3, Diablo, the first Diablo. So it's really cool. It's definitely immersive if you're into the lore, if you're into the RPG aspect of the game. It's definitely immersive. Atmosphere-wise, I mentioned Diablo 2 quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, I think Diablo 2 was my favorite. I think it was phenomenal. I think it's far better than Diablo 3. I would take Diablo, the first Diablo over Diablo 3 too. And in terms of the atmosphere, it's just hopeless. It just reeks of desperation. There's depression. I mean, it's just so cool. Like, it sounds weird for me to say all these negative things are cool, but it just meshes so well with the universe of Diablo and the game itself. Like the levels and the level design, the towns, the villages, the struggling characters. It's just very Diablo. And to me, the atmosphere is in stark contrast to Diablo 3, which, in my opinion, in terms of atmosphere and also combat, it felt very cartoony. And I really am enjoying Diablo 4's atmosphere quite a bit. There's really dark areas, really grotesque areas, macabre. It's so good. And music wise, phenomenal. I mean, like the music is almost perfect. Like the ambient music in the background as you're going through the towns or just the wilds, it's really appropriate, and I was really surprised by it because not a lot of games can really nail the music well, especially when you switch to combat or transition from combat to whatever land you're going through. And I really enjoyed the music. Like, it's a big part of the game. And again, if you're into like immersion and music or games OSTs, I think this game is definitely hitting the ball out of the park. I mentioned voice acting earlier. Voice acting is great. I really do like what they do with they continue to do with the messages that people leave behind in the game, or the scraps of information that NPCs leave, and they voice it out for you. And it's just really nice. Gameplay wise, this is the biggest thing to me, because, well, yeah, you can have the best lore, you can have the best characters or good voice acting or whatever, but if the gameplay is bad, probably it's not gonna be a good game. Gameplay wise, I was actually really surprised. There was, at least compared to Diablo 3, more tactile feel to me. The combat feel really good. Like, it felt like skills had impact. It felt like my hits on targets had impact. It felt like the hits on me had impact, right? I really did enjoy the gameplay, the movement wise of the character. Again, because this is beta, it sometimes didn't work so well, but most of the time when it was working well, it just felt really smooth, really responsive. Combat, wow, I don't know where to start. Even start with the combat. The combat again feels really nice. It's kind of the same feeling I got when I played things like Lost Ark, where the combat felt not just impactful in terms of the tactile feel, but also like it just felt smooth. It felt streamlined. It just felt right, and that's the best I can explain how the combat feels. In terms of the specifications of numbers and the skill tree, which I think is also amazing in terms of how in depth you could probably go with each class. For example, Barbarian, you can make it like a buffer class. You can make it a debuff class. You can make it a tanky class with damage, or you can do just pure damage. I mean, just that skill tree for that class alone, with a plethora of interesting weapon skills and core combat skills and all that. I think a lot of people will be playing this game for a very long time on just one class. And just kind of take note, when I said I played for 12 hours on the first day of beta, I played 12 hours literally straight. Except for that one disconnect in the middle. So basically 12 hours straight, and I only got to level 25, and I finished what is considered the first zone. The game is massive, and if I got 12 hours straight of gameplay, kind of no-lifing this from the first zone or the first area of the map, of the world map, I didn't even unlock mounts because you can't. I think the gameplay volume is enough to justify $60 or even the pre-order of $70, something like that. I just don't know how much more I can basically like praise this game. It's in beta, I realize that, and while I might sound like I'm fanboying, it just really brought back my good experience with Diablo 2. I think if they were definitely going for a Diablo 2 kind of atmosphere and experience with Diablo 4, and my friends kept saying this should have been Diablo 3. So it's actually really nice to finally be like, oh my god, Blizzard may have finally done something right with Diablo after Diablo 3 and Immortal. Oh my goodness. And I'm super excited to share this with you, my experience with you, because definitely it's just something I didn't expect to enjoy again. So yeah, that's basically it for my review of the early access. Again, there were some bugs, but for the most part, everything just kind of just fell into place. Like story, lore, atmosphere, music, voice acting, combat, just everything. And if you guys do give it a try, or want to give it a try for the early beta, there's also another weekend coming next week for the weekend of March 24th. Other than that, it's gonna release in June. I probably would not recommend pre-ordering. I'm always probably like most of you, always kind of iffy on the whole pre-order concept, especially for maybe like a beta play or maybe a little snippet of the play. Personally, I don't think you'll miss out. I think you only get like 4 early days of early access. Once 4 days before launch, if you pre-order the $80 one or $90 one, and I don't know if that's really worth it. But if you want to just kind of set the money aside now instead of saving it, then yeah, you should probably pre-order the standard edition and not the deluxe or whatever edition that is out there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know if you guys have also played beta in Diablo 4 and what you enjoyed about it, what you didn't enjoy about it. I honestly cannot think of any like pure negatives that I did not enjoy about this game. I think it's gonna be a great game, and I think it might definitely be a contender for Game of the Year. But yeah, I'll let you guys go. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.